A lot of this feedback might apply to you, might not apply to you. If it doesn't apply to you, it's fine, right? Deadline is everything. Now, when you're on your job, when you're actually working with a client, deadline is hugely important. Creativity cannot ever trump deadline. So, for example, if your deadline is 12 o'clock, you can't have a great idea at 2 o'clock at 2 p.m. It doesn't matter. The presentation is already happening. Deadline is here, creativity is here. Even if your creativity, if your output is at a 7 on 10, that's fine. You have to match the deadline. You cannot miss deadlines ever. Okay. Second, as creators, our job is to communicate ideas, right? And the only way to communicate ideas is to put those ideas into words or images or whatever. Just present an idea. By you telling someone, I have a great idea, but I don't know how to show this idea. And a lot of y'all said this to me when y'all were working on the film. So when you were working on the print ads, I have this idea, but I have no idea how to present this idea. You have to know how to present this idea because I'm never going to be able to know what's in your head ever in my life. Right? So it is your job to show me to the best of your abilities what your idea looks like. Right? This, I think, does apply to a lot, and it applies to me as well. Um, as creators, we are constantly second guessing ourselves. Constantly. Is this idea good enough? Can I do better? Now, the problem with that is second guessing yourself to a certain extent is good, right? Because you need to be a worst critic. Once you've created something, you need to look at it with objective eyes and say, you know what, maybe this isn't working. Maybe I can do better. That's good. But you also need to be your biggest cheerleader. Because I guarantee you, there's no one else in this world who is going to be a bigger cheerleader of your work than you. Ever. You're not going to find this person. No one is as invested in you as a creative person other than yourself. So you have to play, you have to be in both of these shoes. You can't just be the critic. You can't just criticize your work and second guess yourself. At the same time, you can't just be always like, oh fuck, what I've created is smashing it. You also have to find a balance between these two. Today, at the end of the relationship, and this happens with every cohort, right? Some of you are going to feel that, you know what, copywriting is not my thing. I'm not a good copywriter, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. My role as a mentor is not to push you towards an area that you are not a natural fit in. It's not. I'll give you an example. I was at Ogilvy, and the year was what I remember this so distinctly. This is 2008, 2009, sometime around that. There was this intern called Jocelyn. Uh, Jocelyn came in as an intern, and he was interning with me as a writer. Now, Jocelyn was shit at writing. He wasn't a great writer. And I would give him assignments and he would come back with very mediocre stuff. One day I asked him to, we were working on a pitch, I think for some brand. And I said, Jocelyn, write me a film. Okay. You know what Jocelyn did? Jocelyn not only wrote the film, but there was a soundtrack in the film as well. Jocelyn used to, he knew how to play the drums and the guitar. What Jocelyn did was he wrote the lyrics to the song, he recorded this entire song by himself, and he put that in the film. The quality of that song was mind blowing. So he knew music really well, and he knew the stuff that goes with production that came to him far more naturally than writing. So I had this friend who worked at Radio Mirchi, I think, and I said that look, I said Jocelyn, I have this friend who works at Radio Mirchi. Why don't you go intern with them? Your internship at Ogilvy is still there. Don't worry, you still have your job. Go spend a month with him, see what it's like. If you like it, stay back. If you don't like it, you can always come back. So he said, okay, cool, let me try it. He went for a month. He never came back. He went into a completely different area. And I think that was when you talk about mentorship, right? I think that is what mentorship is. It's about finding helping people find their natural fit. Like when people try and write copy in English and they're not natural English writers, I said, look, English is a very small language. You don't have to write in English. If you are comfortable writing in Bhojpuri, if you're comfortable writing in Gujarati, please do that because there are less people doing that. There are more English copywriters. You can find a niche, right? And also you need to be able to write in a language that you're thinking in. You can't think in one language and then hope that the words that are coming out will be in another language. It never works. It never works, right? Um, this I also saw. I saw this in the beginning a bit, not so much in the middle and end of the assignments. The natural sort of direction to take for a when you're writing on a brand is to go the fun sex kind of route. Now, and I understand why, right? All of y'all are growing up in this age of LinkedIn where people are posting spec ads on Durex, this, that, whatever. And there's a lot of sexual wordplay, right? Sexual wordplay is fine, but it's lazy. The reason it's lazy is because there's no idea, there's no insight. Now that you know how to crack an insight, you do know how to crack an insight now. Now that you know how to crack an insight, use that. I guarantee you the quality of your communication is going to be far superior than a sex pun. A sex pun will get you laughs, but that's it. It's not going to push the brand. It's not going to do anything for the brand. And you're doing the brand that you're working on a disservice. This we spoke about, but I just thought I'd put this in anyway. I'm going to reiterate the fact that your portfolio is your story, and you have to own the story, right? It's not about the work that you have. To a certain extent, it is obviously about the work that you have. But let's say that the work that you have is comparable to the work that I'm seeing on other portfolios, and I will, right? If I'm looking to hire someone who has about 3 years of work experience, and I'm looking at portfolios that only have 3 years of work experience, the work that they'll have is more or less similar, which means that I'm looking to find someone who's a well-rounded creative individual. I'm looking to peek into someone's mind. That's what I'm looking for, right? And a portfolio is a great way to make that happen. The portfolio, in fact, is the only way to make that happen.